the sword, and you will join me. Choose the ball, and you join your mother in death. You don't understand my words, but you must choose.
Truth is our dogma. We believe it to be man's greatest weapon against the devil. Truth is our dogma. We believe it to be man's greatest weapon against the devil.
One of the main battle that Israel have, knowing you Israel is easy. Brothers can get that history easy. See them curses easy, right? It's the walk and what's happening amongst a lot of our people. Like he said before the Mashiach come, there was going to be a great falling away. That great falling away is falling away from the basics, you know what I'm saying? Knowing the laws, the testimony, and really walking it. So this is the battle, and a lot of brothers teach doctrinally, you just love your brother, Right. It's low-key Christian doctrine amongst Israelites. So
I wanted to say too, and it always sounds like, just so we can start tuning our ears to hear the conversation, it always sounds like we can't keep all the law.
Yes.
You don't have to keep the law. Well, these laws you can't. I understand we can keep all those laws, but these laws you can't keep. That's what it sounds like. So we gotta always remember that actually time is the most subtle beast that was in the field.
Yeah.
So he gonna be the one with your arm around you that you're gonna love on, that you're gonna appreciate, and this, that, and the other, and be like, I do a little something on the side. But, I'll be with y'all. And then as soon as you allow that, that's that crack of the armor. As soon as you allow that to go unchecked, then he's going to ease a little bit more. This is the works of the enemy. So I'm not saying that anybody is evil, but we cannot be oblivious to how Satan operates.
Right.
Because he operates through people. So we must always be conscious of when that is working against us, and also looking at ourselves to see when he is trying to use us to be that chip in someone else's crack. In someone else's armor. It works both ways.
Right. Like the scriptures say, we not ignorant of his devices. So it's not, okay, we call him sister or anybody a devil, you know what I'm saying? But you got to remember that, like you said, Satan, he plays chess. So when you look at the one that they translated as Peter, right? When you look at Peter, right? Peter was one of the disciples that was closest to the Mashiach, man. In fact, the Mashiach told Peter that I'm going to found, you know what I'm saying, my congregation on you. You are that rock. But how many times did he turn to Peter and say, you know what I'm saying? Like, Satan, get out of here. You know what I'm saying? He looked at Peter straight up and told Satan to get the hell out of there. Why? Because a couple of times Peter was like, no, you can't die in Jerusalem and this, that, and the third. He told Satan, get out of here. You savor the things of men. So the Mashiach was able to look at Peter and recognize the language that he was using. Like, oh, this is Satan trying to creep through my brother. Now, remember, as a brother on the outset, he telling, you know what I'm saying, when the Mashiach breaking down that I got to die in Jerusalem. You know what I'm saying? A brother would say, no, man, I don't want you to die. You know what I'm saying? Right? Yeah. That would be a loving thing on the surface, right? But what was really going on? This was really Satan inspiring Peter to say that, because Satan knowing, okay, he died, he going to shed the blood for the nation. You understand what I'm saying? Right. And this is going to give them opportunity to get out of their sin. But on the surface, it looked like Peter was saying something nice. So this is where you got to be able, like he said, hear the language. It's not about necessarily the person, but hearing that language that's coming from that person. Cool, hallelujah. So let's open up with Psalms chapter 18 in the first verse. All right, let's look at Psalms chapter 18.
I will love thee.
I will do what?
I will love thee. Oh Yahweh, my strength.
So that's key. Now this is again King Dawud. King Dawud was known as the king that was after the Most High's heart. You know what I'm saying? So he patterned himself to really walk like how the Most High wanted him to walk, and really show the Most High that love. You understand? So that's why even when King David made the terrible error of dealing with Uriah's wife, he had a heart to repent and really love the Most High. And the Most High appreciated that with King David. So this is something that we must model ourselves after. So he said, I will love you, O Yahweh, my what?
My strength.
Read.
Yahweh is my rock and my fortress and my deliverer, my power, my strength, in whom I will trust.
So this is the mindset that we got to have, especially in this time that we in today. All right, because we're going to go through some things, man. It's exciting, but it's also at the same time, it's sobering. All right, and it's going to make this thing a little bit more surreal. You understand? So the Most High, we keep looking for that love, and we got to give it to him because he gives it to us first. You understand? So give him that love back and understand that he's our rock, our fortress, and our deliverer. We're going to need that in this end because how Shaitan, he's upset. He know he getting ready to have to suffer. You understand? So he trying to take all of us with him. You understand? But the Most High is our power and our strength. Right? Read.
And the horn of my salvation.
The horn of our salvation. So Yahweh is our salvation. And this is what for the next, I'm going to say this flat out. For the next couple years, focus on that. Salvation. Let this be the first thing in your mind. And we're going to see why I'm saying that. You know what I'm saying? We all know we want salvation. But let that word be the first thing in your mind when you rise and when you go to sleep and when you're walking throughout your day. I want Yahweh to save me. Let that be in your mind. We're going to see why. Right? Read.
And my high tower. Verse 3. I will call upon Yahweh.
Who is what?
Who is worthy to be praised.
You see that the Most High Yahweh is worthy to be praised. That's daily, right? So let's get a Most High Yahweh and the Mashiach Yahweh Shah a round of true praise, worship, applause, right? Hallelujah.
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 That's what that hallelujah means, to praise Yah, praise you Yah. He's definitely worthy to be praised, man, because again, none of us really deserve to be in this truth, man. You know, we don't even deserve to be alive, some of us, you know? Just being honest, right? But the Most High, man, he's merciful, he loves us, and he's definitely worthy to be praised. And that bottom portion, read on.
So shall I be saved from mine enemies.
And that's what we got to be saved from our enemies, right? Whether it's spiritual, first and foremost, how Shaitan and all the wicked hosts that he commands, or our physical enemies from out of these nations. The Most High, man, we need him to save us, you know, and that's what we need to be looking forward to. So again, let's give the Most High another round of applause and bring us back together. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
So to the law and to the testimony, if they speak not according to this word, is what?
There is no
light in them. All that the Most High Yahweh has said, we will what?
We
will do. All right. Let's kick it off in that Psalm chapter 1 in the first verse.
Psalm chapter 1 and 1. Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly.
See that? So the man that doesn't walk in the counsel of the ungodly, the scripture say you ought to be blessed. All right, what does it mean not to walk in the counsel of the ungodly? It means simple, not to walk in the ways of the wicked. All right, so you want to be blessed by Yahweh, by Hashem, Hamashiach Yahweh Shah. All right, in the name of the Mashiach, hey, walk righteously, right? Read.
Nor standeth in the way of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful.
See that? So we say what? Don't stand in the way of sinners. All right, so the ultimate goal, like I said, man, the next year to 2 years, we want to focus on what? Salvation. All right. So in order for us to have an opportunity to be saved, you can't be a sinner. All right. The Most High said this in the book of Amos. Flip over to Amos 9 real quick. Let's see what the Most High say about sinners, right? People that violate the Most High's law. The book of Amos chapter 9 verse 10.
All the sinners of my people shall die.
Shall do what?
Shall die by the sword, which say, the evil shall not overtake nor prevent us.
See that? So the Most High said all the sinners of his people will die by the sword. All right, those that say, oh, I ain't nothing evil. I'm all right. The Lord okay with me. You know, you in sin, the Most High promise you, you're going to taste of the sword. So we don't want to walk in the way of sinners like Psalm chapter 1 and verse 1 says, right? Okay. So let's flip back to that Psalm chapter 1 and read on.
There's a couple key words in there. You want to
go ahead and touch on that.
All right, Kyle. So for verse 1 and 1, second line says, be not in the counsel of the ungodly. I just wanted to look up counsel real quick. So the counsel is advice by implication, plan, also prudence, advice, advisement, or counsel. So I didn't want us to skip over what exactly a council is. If we're hanging out with a group of people and you saying, oh, yeah, this going on, what do you think? You're sitting in the council. Now, this council that you're in the company of is not keeping the laws of the Most High. We have to be conscious of how to apply, you know what I'm saying, these laws in our waking life.
They're going to for sure have a different foundation and set of reasoning behind what they're going to tell you.
Right.
It's going to be based on the world's perspective.
Right.
For sure. And way outside of Torah. Probably.
Exactly. So if we are walking around with people, or we kicking it with people, and we know that they doing something wicked, why are you associating yourself with that, thinking that you're going to go unpunished?
Right.
We need to be very careful about who we allow to be in our folds.
Absolutely.
And who folds we are in.
Absolutely.
And it says also, nor to stand in the way of sinners. That's pretty self-explanatory. Nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful. So again, I just wanted to go to scornful real quick. Just wanted to have a couple notes. To scorn, to make mouths at, to talk arrogantly, to boast, to scorn, to mock, to interpret language, an interpreter or ambassador. So if you're sitting in a place of pride over somebody, or you see somebody being talked about, it could even be if you're just roasting, sometimes we talk about each other or whatnot, it's no big deal. But if you're sitting in a place to where you're doing that and it's hurting them, you are sitting in the seat of the scornful. You need to watch that.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So we must be very careful on who we allow to be around us. Because if someone else is wicked, you'll be like, oh, well, we just cool, but his sin is going to jump on you. Or if we are sitting in the seat of a scornful mocking somebody, we need to be careful because the Most High don't take pleasure in that. So.
And one of the main things that seat of the scornful as well, one of the main terms in there is the mockery. The people that mock the scriptures, as you see, the attitude towards the Bible and the Most High's word is, for the most part on the earth, is mocked. Oh, that's not real. It's been translated so many different times. How can we believe it? They are sitting in the seat of the scornful. They're mocking the Most High's word. But we're going to see the Most High's word come to pass whether they like it or not. So, again, taking that advice, like you said, the counsel from the wicked, don't do it. When it comes to the matters of life, you're not going to get any really sound, wise counsel from those that's in the world. Simple and plain.
Not going to happen.
Just be honest.
How nice they are.
Yeah, no matter how nice they are. They might be able to give you a couple of pointers here and there. But when it comes to like sound understanding, you're not going to get it. You're only going to get that from those that's really in the truth and being led by the Spirit.
Okay.
Read on, verse 2.
Verse 2. But his delight is in the law of Yahweh.
Now that's key. Is our delight in the Most High's law? Do you delight in keeping his commandments? Some people think that this thing is a burden. Right? That's why in 1 John the 5th chapter it say that his commandments are not what? They're not grievous. A lot of people think that this is a burdensome thing. Damn, man, I can't do nothing on Shabbat and this, that, and the third. Like this is, especially for you kids. Yeah, because sometimes y'all go through that. Damn, I just want to play a little bit more 2K, or I just want to, nah, forget that. Shabbat, the Most High only asking us for 24 hours.
I mean, can't go down fast enough for me.
Right.
I'll be ready to go to sleep.
Exactly.
Y'all the game.
Right. And then the more and more you tap into the Shabbat, the spirit of the Shabbat, you feel the rest in your spirit. You know what I'm saying? And you need that.
Yeah.
You understand? So again, we have to have that delight in the Most High's law. Delight in it. And the more you have that in your spirit, the more pleasing you will be to the Most High. Right? Read on.
I just want to say one thing real quick. We really have to check that spirit in us. If we are looking and saying, oh, this is burdensome, this is grievous, or you always feel like you're the victim of, you better get that spirit up out of you, because that is not of the Most High. All right, verse 2, sorry, the 7th. And in his law do he meditate day and night.
And that's something that we all need to improve on. Meditating in the Most High's law, statutes, and commandments. Again, we read when we was dealing with our Shabbat call last week, we read what? The Mashiach said that man don't live by bread alone, right? He was actually quoting the law. So we can't just live by bread, but you got to live by what?
Practices.
It said man don't live by bread alone, but by what?
Is it by the word?
By every word that comes from the Most High. That's our true nourishment. So when you meditate in the Most High's law, his word, his law, day and night, you know what I'm saying, the more spiritually you will be nourished. And we need that. All right, because that's the only way you're going to be able to be fortified physically, you know what I'm saying, and spiritually to go up against what we get ready to go up against as a people. All right. Verse 3.
Verse 3. And he shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water, that bringeth forth his fruit in his season. His leaf also shall not wither, and whatsoever he doeth shall prosper.
So you see, that's what the Most High wants us to be, a nice, prosperous fruit tree that's bearing 30, 60 to 100-fold worth of fruit. You know, what type of fruit are you bearing? Some people bearing fruit, but it's rotten. Some people is bearing fruit, it's nice and plump and juicy. You know, the Most High can appreciate that. So again, when you meditate on the Most High's laws, statutes, and commandments, and his word in general, you'll be like that tree planted by the rivers of water, right? Read on.
The ungodly are not so.
So the ungodly are those that don't follow the Most High's word. They don't care. All right? Read.
But are like the chaff which the wind driveth away.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore the ungodly shall not stand in the judgment, nor sinners in the congregation of the righteous.
You see that? So the ungodly ain't going to stand in the judgment. I mean, they not going to be counted worthy to pass into the kingdom. The Most High is going to say, okay, see you later. And no, none of us want that. That, I mean, again, you got to really think about that. None of us want to go before the Most High and he be like, I don't know you. Get out of here, you worker of iniquity. So again, that goal, put that term salvation, keep that in your mind. Because when you keep that term salvation, I want to be saved, then that's going to activate your spirit to, okay, let me keep these laws. Let me follow the testimony from Mashiach. Let me see what these prophets was talking about. How did my righteous forefathers walk? So I can be pleasing to the Most High. Right? Read.
For Yahweh knoweth the way of righteousness, of the righteous, but the way of the ungodly shall perish.
You got the way of the ungodly shall perish. So each and every last one of us got an expiration date. Everybody walking this earth, you know what I'm saying? You on borrowed time. The Most High has lent you your physical body so you can walk and pass this probationary period. What are you going to do? What are we going to do? Are we going to do what we supposed to and then make it into the kingdom? Or are we going to follow the ways of this world and get put to death? The choice is yours. All right, so let's go into these laws, statutes, and commandments again. Let's pick it up at Deuteronomy chapter 8 and the 6th verse.
Deuteronomy chapter 8 and verse 6. Therefore thou shalt keep the commandments of Yahweh thy power, to walk in his ways and to fear him.
You see that again, the Most High, he's commanding us to keep those commandments. All right, walk in his ways and fear him. All right, when you walk in his ways, you're showing yourself that you are a son and a daughter of Yahweh. You know what I'm saying? And that you're walking in the footsteps of our big brother, Yahushua HaMashiach. He said he was the firstborn to give us that example, you know? So all of us are supposed to be, our ultimate role model and goal is to be like who? HaMashiach Yahushua. You know, and once you get to that point, then the Most High will be pleasing with you. He'll be pleased with you. Other than that, you're not going to make it, right? So let's drop down to verse 10. All right.
Verse 10. When thou hast eaten and art full, then thou shalt bless the Most High thy power for the good land which he hath given thee.
All right, so notice that. It says, when you have eaten and are full, then bless Yahweh. Now, normally, we've been taught to do what?
Pray first.
You pray over your food the first, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not knocking that, because I'm gonna pray to the Most High Yahweh. Thank you for giving me this plate. But really, after you get full, you know what I'm saying? Say another prayer to the Most High. You know what I'm saying? And thank him for allowing you to be able to, partake in the fruits of the earth. You understand? But we're not even taught that, right? And it's right there in the book. You know what I'm saying? How many of us actually pray after you eat? You know what I'm saying?
Not all the time.
Yeah, we working on. We trying to get it right. You know what I'm saying? That ain't something we was brought up with. Yeah. You know, you eat, you get full, you put your plate up, and that's it. You know what I'm saying? That's it. But the Most High wants us to, bless his name after he has blessed you to be able to eat. Because think about the famine right now that's encircling the earth. You know what I mean? People, like, on the real, man, like, one thing is what I'm trying to instill in my house. We so used to eating how many meals a day?
3.
At least 3.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Now, the majority of people is really eating more than that. You get your 3 main meals, which is your breakfast, your lunch, and your dinner. But in between that, you're snacking, you're doing this. You know what I mean? Like, this is what we do regular. One thing that I've been out for the past few years, you know what I'm saying? Like, elder that brought me in, he told me, like, eat one time a day. He was giving me the science on it, and it makes a lot of sense. I'm not saying that you have to do that, but the thing is, we want to get to the point where we start exercising control over our appetites.
Right.
You understand? Like what Mary and them just did. You know what I'm saying? Oh yeah, y'all go in there and have some snacks. And what he go in there and do? They go in there and eat 11 damn angel eggs, all right? You know what I'm saying? Sausage and everything. Mom dudes come out, what is this? A quarter of the tray gone.
A full course meal.
Just
You
the
know what I'm
sausage and the devil eggs. Anything else, nothing, almost nothing touched.
I mean, this is ridiculous. You know why? Because they so used to just eating. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is, you gotta look at it. You know how many people on the earth can't get one angel egg? You know what I'm saying? Will be just happy to just have one and will be thankful for that. You understand? So, like I said, one thing I'll try to instill in my house is like, man, look, when it comes to the end, we're not gonna be able to go to these grocery stores. If you ain't got that mark of the beast, you ain't gonna be able to go to no grocery store to get a dozen eggs. You understand what I'm saying? The Most High's gonna have to provide for it. Might be a day you might not eat.
Or
how you gonna deal with that? It might be a week. How you physically gonna, deal with that if you're not exercising it now? You know what I'm saying? Amir, you probably gonna go nuts. Jay Sean, you probably go crazy because you can't eat. You know what I'm saying? So we gotta be thankful for that. So when the Most High allow you to get full, you know what I'm saying, get the Most High thanks. So in the end, you know what I'm saying, we can rely on that fact that he said, my servants is gonna eat and they're gonna drink.
Absolutely.
But you gotta have that control, man.
You know, there was something I noticed about that verse too. The times where I was trying to apply that, the spirit changed, my ruach changed in my prayer. You know what I'm saying? Like the prayer was praise. You know, so to sit back and to give thanks for something that you have been satisfied with. You know what I'm saying? You feel good, you nourish. It's like, thank you. You know what I'm saying? The ruach completely changed. You know what I'm saying? It's not, what? Like I noticed before, like sometimes the prayer will be in fear. I don't know if they'll cook this thing right. I don't know if they'll wash their hands.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But it's like, thank you for this food. Let it not be sick. Let's not get sick by. Like that may not be said, but that's the spirit behind the prayer. Yeah. But when you are satisfied, it's just you're able to focus on the Most High. You ain't sitting there smelling this food and like, your mouth watering. You got half your attention on the Most High, half your attention on the food. Right. Your focus is on the Most High. So I think that's beautiful. And I don't know if people have realized that or not. So,
because even our forefather YHWH, aka Jacob, he said it. He was bringing praise to the Most High. He said, "My power that has fed me all the days of my life." So he understood that it was the Most High that was feeding him and taking care of him. And that's how we gotta, like when we give him that prayer at the end of eating, you give him that honor because you're reflecting on the fact that it's the Most High giving you that sustenance. Because again, so many people on the earth right now is starving. It's ridiculous, man.
A lot of people end up giving that praise to whoever cooked the food instead of giving it to the Most High. That was so good. That's supposed to be going to the Most High.
God, absolutely. Drop down to verse 18.
Verse 8.
Can you read? Verse 11. Come.
Beware that thou forget not the Most High thy power in keeping his commandments.
Read that again.
Beware that thou forget not the Most High thy power and not keeping his commandments and his judgments and his statutes, which I command thee this day.
You see, that's sort of we're being warned to not forget the Most High. That's an easy thing for our people to do, to forget Yahweh because we don't see him, right? So a lot of times our people, you going through your daily life and you forget about the Most High. You can't do that because it's the Most High that he's alive. He's sustaining you every day. Every day you rise, he's giving that, okay, go ahead, get on up. You know what I'm saying? He's the one that's sustaining you every day. So we can't forget him. All right? Read on. Lest
when thou hast eaten and art full and hast built goodly houses and dwelt therein, and when thy herds and thy flocks multiply, and the silver and thy gold is multiplied, and all that thou hast is multiplied, then thy heart be lifted up, and thou forget the Most High thy power, which brought thee from forth out the land of Egypt, from the house of bondage.
See that? So the Most High wants us to always keep him in the forefront of our mind. And the only way we can show that is when we keep his commandments, when we openly are active in keeping his commandments. It said, lest when you are eating and full and get goodly houses and dwell therein, your herds, your flocks, your money, all that is built up. It's an easy way to forget the Most High. And that's what's happening with a lot of our people. You understand what I'm saying? That they they're prospering in this system. You know, they might be doing good and what have you, money wise, and you forget about the Most High. You know, that's what the danger of being a so-called celebrity or even just a standard person that goes to college and get a good education. You know, it's easy for you to forget about the Most High. But when you keep it humble, you know what I'm saying, to understand, look, it's the Most High that gives me all the power to be able to do anything, then you won't forget him, right? Read.
Verse 15, who led thee through the great and terrible wilderness, wherein were fiery serpents and scorpions and drought, where there was no water.
This is what the Most High did for our forefathers back in the day. He led us through the wilderness and kept us safe. Even now, when we dealing with this captivity, every way you turn around, all right, there's something behind the scenes that's really trying to take you out. Whether it be the food, the water. Y'all heard about the water supply in the city? It ain't just Flint no more, right? The Detroit water got a certain lead content in it, right? Oakland County got a certain lead content in the water now. So it's the Most High, man, that's keeping us in all things, man. You know, so we got to give him that honor, right? Read.
Who brought thee forth water out of the rock of Flint.
Rock and water out of Flint, right?
Right.
Wow, brother, right? Verse 16.
Who fed thee in the wilderness with manna, which thy fathers knew not, that he might be humbled, that he might humble thee, and that he might prove thee to do thee good and thy latter end. And thou say in thy heart, my power and my might of mine hand have gotten me this wealth.
So this is what the Most High don't want us to do, to develop a prideful mindset that, oh, my college degree or my job and this, that, and the third, I've done this by myself. The Most High YHWH don't want us thinking like that. You know what I'm saying? Shabbat Shalom, Sister Brenda. But Naya, it's good to see you. How you doing?
All right.
Glad you made it.
Shalom.
Glad you made it. So the Most High, again, wants us to have that mindset to understand that it's him that's feeding us, it's him that's clothing us, it's him that's putting the roof over our head. All of that, giving you health, all of that. It's him that's doing that. Right? Read verse 18.
18, but thou shalt remember the Most High thy power, for it is he that giveth thee power to get wealth, that he may establish his covenant, which he swear unto thy fathers as it is this day.
See, that's what we got to remember. It's the Most High YHWH that is our source of strength. So anything that we dealing with is having a home, having food to eat, having our health, so on and so forth, man. It's YHWH. You know, your hand, okay, yeah, you might have went in and punched the clock. You understand what I'm saying? You might have worked that 8, 10, 12 hours, but it's the Most High that was sustaining you to be able to do that. So we want to give him that honor and that praise. So let's give the Most High YHWH a round of applause for everything he's done for us. Right? Yeah, read verse 19.
And it shall be, if thou do at all forget the Most High thy power, and walk after other gods, and serve them, and worship them, I testify against you this day, that you shall surely perish.
See, that's the Most High. And this is what's happened to us. That's why our nation perished. That's why we over here getting our behinds whipped on, and everywhere we at in this earth, we getting whipped on because we actually forgot about the Most High. We went after the other gods, so on and so forth, right? So the earth and the heavens is testifying against us. That's why it's important for us to turn to the Most High with your whole heart, mind, and soul, especially in this time. It ain't no time to play now. I'm telling you straight up, there's no time to play. It's time for us to get it right with the Most High.
Truth is our dogma. We believe it to be man's greatest weapon against the devil.